我的地铁站那个走廊里头了，在那块儿。
Imagine a colossal empire, once hailed as the economic marvel of the century, now trembling beneath cracks too vast to conceal. From ferocious storms submerging Shanghai to massive hailstones shattering Beijing, from international debt traps strangling smaller nations to poverty forcing millions of Chinese to borrow just for a meal, these are not isolated incidents. They paint a vivid picture of a China grappling with a multidimensional crisis, a collapsing economy, a fracturing society, and a political system shrouded in the dark secrets of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Beijing may control the narrative, but nature, people, and the outside world refuse to stay silent. Today, we strip away the glossy facade to reveal the bleeding wounds beneath. Are you ready to face the truth? Let's embark on a journey from a billion-dollar dream to a nightmarish reality. Relentless natural disasters, a curse from the heavens. Punishing Beijing. In an instant, Beijing, the heart of the Chinese Empire, turned into an icy battlefield. On September 15, 2025, a hailstorm descended like a divine curse, with massive ice chunks up to 10 centimeters in diameter crashing down like bombs, piercing car windshields, rooftops, and the illusion of urban progress. Oh my God, my car's ruined. This hailstone hit my leg, echoed screams from the Huaxiang used car market, where hundreds of vehicles lay like casualties, their glass shattered and bodies dented. Streets turned white with ice, trees uprooted, leaves scattered like ashes in a hellish snowstorm. Panicked residents sought shelter under bridges, in subway stations, or crammed into taxis to escape the relentless ice bombs. It's September. How can there be hail this big? Has the sky gone mad? A vegetable vendor lamented, her fresh produce now a mangled mess under a 20-centimeter layer of ice. In just 10 minutes, millions of yuan in damages piled up. Wrecked cars, shattered greenhouses, and fear spreading like a plague. This wasn't the first time. Beijing has seen thunderstorms with hail before. But the scale of this event sparked whispers. Has heaven abandoned us? Thousands of kilometers away, Shanghai, China's gleaming symbol of prosperity, faced nature's wrath. On September 8th, a sudden storm turned apocalyptic. The sky darkened at 3 p.m., as if midnight had fallen. Torrential rain poured like a waterfall, and howling winds swept away everything in their path. "My God, I've never seen fish that big in a flood," a witness shouted as waves surged through the Bund, Shanghai's iconic riverside district. Streets became rivers, cars floated in thigh-deep water, and drivers gripped steering wheels in terror. During school pickup hours, parents were stranded in floods. Children wailed in the flooded Zhongyang market, now a watery wasteland. "This is Shanghai at 4 p.m., looking like the end of the world," went viral on social media, where users like Muao vented, "At 5:40, it's pitch black. Traffic's gridlocked, no one's moving. What kind of cursed weather is this?" In hours, floods submerged subways and bus stations, turning the megacity into a chaotic swamp. And let's not forget Super Typhoon Tapa, which struck Guangdong on September 8th, with Category 13 winds, uprooting trees, halting ferries, and canceling flights. At Guanghai Port, a reporter clung to a microphone amid roaring winds. The gales howl like primal rage. Tents are shredded, just 10 kilometers from the storm's eye. The 2025 disasters are no coincidence. From droughts to floods, they signal that the CCP's glorious infrastructure is crumbling under climate change's pressure. Beijing suppresses casualty figures, but images of floating cars, collapsed homes, and desperate citizens have spread globally. Is this Mother Nature's revenge for China's reckless industrialization? Global debt traps, Beijing's tofu, megaprojects, leave a legacy of destruction. Far away in the depths of Ecuador's Amazon rainforest, a billion-dollar dream has become a debt-ridden nightmare, all originating from Beijing. The $3.2 billion Coca-Codo-Sinclair Dam, once hailed by President Rafael Correa as the key to energy independence, has turned into a symbol of tofu-projects, shiny on the outside, rotten within. Built by Sino-Hydro, now Power China, backed by Xi Jinping, the dam developed over 17,000 concrete cracks within years, a structure meant to last 50 years now at risk of collapsing before 20. Located dangerously near the Reventador volcano, with 13 kilometers of the Coca River eroded in 3 years, experts Sebastian Naranjo Silva and Juliana Romero Barromeo warned, as a massive sinkhole swallowed the San Rafael waterfall in 2020, unleashing 500 million tons of sediment, devastating the Amazon ecosystem, agriculture, and tourism. Ecuador, having mortgaged its oil for a $1.7 billion loan from China's Exim Bank at 7% interest, now faces $125 million in annual repayments, a suffocating burden on its future. Ecuador is just the tip of the iceberg. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, Beijing has scattered tofu projects worldwide. In Pakistan, the Neelam Jhelum plant shut down due to hazardous tunnel cracks. In Uganda, the Isimba Dam has 500 defects, and Karuma is plagued with faulty wiring and fire risks. In Bosnia, a dam triggered landslides, killing people with falling rocks. In Nepal, the $216 million Pokhara airport became a white elephant with no passengers. Even in Thailand, the National Audit Office collapsed in a 2025 earthquake, the only building destroyed, courtesy of a Chinese contractor. These megaprojects aren't development. They're debt traps disguised as generosity. Ecuador, after suing Power China for $400 million, was forced into a 2025 support deal. Beijing now manages the dam, tightening its grip on energy. Nothing comes free with China, former Minister Fernando Santos admitted, as Correa was forced to sell 90% of Ecuador's crude oil to Beijing to service debts. Corruption taints everything. Reuters exposed a $76 million bribery network tied to former President Lenin Moreno. The CCP deflects with state media, dismissing Western reports like those in the New York Times as biased. But the truth is clear. Beijing trades debt for resources and influence, an empire built on invisible chains. Economic collapse, the miracle. Economy turns into a debt-fueled hell. Beneath the glossy surface, China's economy is crumbling like a sandcastle. Millions can't afford meals, borrowing on credit just to eat. Since 2024, customers pay with credit cards or Huabei instead of WeChat Pay, a basement restaurant owner revealed, where white-collar workers, the middle class, go into debt for lunch. At a factory job fair, a 45-year-old man confessed, "I haven't eaten in 2 days. If I don't get help, I'll starve." Businesses are collapsing en masse, factories are closing, and unemployment is soaring among youth and seasoned workers alike. The real estate crisis has wiped out lifelong savings, and local governments are drowning in unpayable debts. The economy is collapsing. State firms are cutting back. Private businesses are vanishing. Foreign investment is fleeing, an anonymous blogger warned, as faith in the future fades and the wealth gap widens into a chasm. Only 700,000 of 1.4 billion Chinese earn over 20,000 yuan a month. 90% of men earn below 5,000 yuan, barely enough for taxes. A programmer earning 8,000 yuan a month after mortgage, car, and tuition debts is left with just 2,000 yuan. His wife hesitates to buy 500 yuan cosmetics twice a year. Children are called money-eating machines. Raising a 21-month-old in Shenyang costs over 26,000 yuan annually, 3,600 for milk, 3,600 for diapers, 9,000 for miscellaneous expenses. Farmers can't sell produce, migrants sleep on streets, and rural villages are dying. The CCP touts recovery, but the reality is hellish. Social tensions erupt, from family quarrels to quiet protests. Was the Chinese dream just an illusion, propped up by Beijing's fabricated figures? Trade tensions. Tariffs tighten, isolating China on the global stage. The world is turning its back on the world's factory Mexico, the top buyer of Chinese cars in the first half of 2025, 234,500 vehicles, up 30.7%, now imposes a 50% tariff, up from 20%. Minister Marcelo Ebrard explained, protecting jobs, compliant with WTO, countering cheap imports. Pressure from Trump looms. Impose any tariff to stop Chinese cars flooding the U.S. via Mexico. The North American fortress blocks Chinese goods, exempting Mexican cars meeting USMCA rules. The U.S. already slaps 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs, targeting supply chains from steel to tech. The ripple effect hits Vietnam and Malaysia, caught between Chinese investment and U.S. sanctions for tariff evasion. Chinese car exports to the UAE surged 58.5%, but Russia's imports dropped 59.2%. Mexico's move is a critical blow. Scheinbaum considers tariffs on non-FTA countries, pushing a Mexico plan for local production. Trade conflicts are reshaping global manufacturing, isolating China. The CCP calls it protectionism, but the truth is clear. The economic empire is shrinking, masked by propaganda of win-win cooperation. The CCP's secrets, a veil of silence and whispers of resistance. Behind every disaster looms the CCP, a machine controlling information, hiding dark secrets. Natural disasters? Casualty reports are suppressed. State media calls Beijing's hailstorm normal weather. Tofu-projects. Chinese TV defends Coca-Cola Sinclair as safe and sustainable, slamming the New York Times as biased. Economic crisis, fake unemployment data, bloggers arrested for spreading rumors. Corruption, a $76 million bribery network in Ecuador tied to leaders, yet Beijing stays silent. Birth rates, fake subsidies mask real social pressures, but the cracks are showing. Ecuador's 2025 deal halts lawsuits, handing power China control. Is this support or domination? Experts estimate $71 million for dam repairs, but the CCP prioritizes influence. Globally, the Belt and Road isn't cooperation. It's a power grab for oil and minerals. Quiet resistance grows. Ecuador pursues international lawsuits, Mexico imposes tariffs, Chinese bloggers whisper, the miracle is over. The CCP may silence voices, but nature and the world won't forgive. The secrets are leaking, and the empire is faltering. From nightmare to hope, will China break the veil? China in 2025 is no invincible empire. It's a nation wrestling with a comprehensive crisis, where the CCP conceals to cling to power. From Beijing's ice storms to Shanghai's floods, from Ecuador's debt traps to domestic poverty, the picture is clear. Ambition has outstripped capability, and secrets breed disaster. Yet amid despair, there's hope. Nations like Ecuador demand accountability. Chinese youth resist through childless choices, and the world tightens the screws with tariffs. Will Beijing awaken or keep blinding itself? The story isn't over. Share your thoughts in the comments. Will China collapse or reinvent itself? Subscribe and hit the bell to follow the next revelations. Thank you for joining us. The truth awaits.